Sometimes when people find out that I'm both a music therapist and mental health counselor, they'll ask me what they think the benefits of this has been for me or if it's been helpful for me. So I decided to make a video on the pros and cons of cross-training in music therapy, whether that be mental health counseling, speech therapy, occupational therapy, or any other kind of cross-training. So let's get into it. Hey guys, I'm Leela from Uku-Lela Therapy. I'm a music therapist and mental health counselor, and I use music and expressive arts in fun, creative, and research-based ways to help with things like mental health challenges, wellness, and self-development. She's on the lookout for any enemies in the territory. So first, why did I decide to cross-train? Music therapy is a very broad field, and as a music therapist, you're trained to work in a variety of populations. So I've always found myself drawn to the mental health psychology part of things, so when it came time to choose things like my internship and practicum, naturally I chose behavioral health hospitals and things like that. And this just confirmed for me that I love that population. After I graduated and finished my internship, I went back home to live with my parents, and I went through the typical quarter-life crisis, what am I doing with my life type thing. I applied for music therapy jobs, but all the positions that I would want were out of state, and I really wanted to stay in Florida. And I know that the music therapy field is growing, but at that time there really weren't a lot of opportunities for behavioral health in my area. So a natural consequence of this quarter-life crisis and trying to find jobs was applying to grad school. So I thought that it would be helpful to specialize in something and be helpful in finding more job opportunities, and I did always have in the back of my mind that I wanted to be a counselor, and I think that kept growing and getting bigger as I went through those few years of trying to figure out what I wanted to do. How do I use my cross-training? Well, right now I am mostly considering myself a mental health counselor, although I do use music therapy at times. For example, I'm in the process of starting a ukulele group for teens for confidence and self-esteem. And I also teach adaptive music lessons. So let's get into the pros and cons. Pros. Job opportunities. Like I said before, it opened up a lot more opportunity for me, and just going through school and meeting people obviously has helped in that area as well. Of course, you don't have to go back to school to do that. There are a lot of other ways to do that, but that was just one positive thing that came from that. Another pro is marketability. One big way that this stands out to me is in teaching adaptive lessons. I've had a lot of students say to me that they chose me because of my background in music therapy and mental health. They're neurodivergent, or they have a kid who wants lessons who's neurodivergent. I think they just feel more comfortable knowing that someone is trained in those areas and kind of knows what to expect. What are you doing? Nope, you're not sitting there. It's also helped me in the mental health counseling world because being a music therapist has been seen as a niche in that world. So I think it's been helpful in employers seeing that I could add something to the team. So going along with the marketability part, another huge pro is having a niche. I think this naturally happens as a music therapist. You kind of find your niche in the population that you like working with, and finding training in that niche is just another way to expand it and grow into it and find more opportunities. And having a niche, you kind of just find your place, you find your people, and you find your population, and it's really helpful for job growth. Now let's talk about the cons. There's really only two major cons I could think of. The first one is confusion of roles. So as long as you're being clear about what your role is and what service you're providing a client, this shouldn't really be an issue, but it's definitely something that I am facing as I'm starting my private practice and wanting to offer multiple services like music therapy and adaptive lessons and counseling, but just trying to figure out the legal aspects of that and what that looks like can be a little bit daunting and complicated. In reality, I wish I could just play music with people and talk about their feelings, but that's not really the way the world works, unfortunately. There's a little more hoops to jump through. And the next major con, in my opinion, is the time and the cost that it takes to get more training. To be honest, if I knew at the beginning of this journey that I would be spending so much money and time in order to make money, I don't know if I would have done it. But on the other hand, I'm glad I didn't know, because I'm glad that I did do it. It really is what I want to be doing, and I think it was a great choice for me. But it's definitely something to consider if you are thinking about going down that path. And there are ways to make it happen. There's programs that you can go at your own pace. You can take like one class a semester. You don't even have to go back to school, especially these days. There's other ways to get trained in things that you want to be trained in. And you just kind of have to weigh the pros and cons of what that would look like for you. So I also asked this question in a music therapy cross-training group I'm in on Facebook. Since I'm only one person with one experience and my own opinions, I was curious to know what other people's thoughts were on the pros and cons of cross-training. And almost everyone said there are no cons. And then the people that did mention cons mentioned the time and the cost. So that seems like it's probably the biggest con for maybe most people who are in cross-training. And not only are you paying for the education, but you're paying to keep up with 2 different licenses. You have to pay for the continuing education credits and the testing fees, conferences, liability insurance. So there's just a lot that goes into having 2 different licenses or certifications. Just something to keep in the back of your mind. So if you're a cross-trained music therapist, please comment below what your pros and cons are. I'm curious to hear how that journey has been for you. Hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, please like, share, and subscribe. That would mean a lot to me. I post videos every Friday on mental health counseling, music therapy, expressive arts, and all that good stuff. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!